Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am joined today by two very special guests. We've got Kem and Siddhant from subnet number 113, which is TensorUSD. We're going to be diving into everything that the guys are building related to TensorUSD and their stablecoin for the Bittensor network in today's interview. But by way of introduction, as always, I would love to give both of you the opportunity to give us a little bit of a background. So, Cam and Siddhant, please take it away. Give us a brief intro. How did you get involved in Bittensor, and a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into all of the good stuff around Tensor.
Yeah, thank you, Gordon. Thank you for this opportunity. Hey, everyone. So my name is Kemraj Regmi. I'm the founder and CEO of the TensorUSD. So, talking about how I get into Bittensor, me and my team, along with my teams, we saw a gap. Nobody was filling. So Bittensor is building the future of decentralized AI, right? But we don't have any native stable coin or the native stable unit for the Bittensor whole ecosystem. So no stable layer to keep the liquidity within the ecosystem. So capital was leaking every time. So since last August, we have been building TensorUSD to solve exactly that, or reserve back over-collateralized stable coins natively built on Bittensor ecosystem, where miner and validator act as a decentralized market makers. Along with that, miner in our TensorUSD are the autonomous AI liquidator agent. And me, along my team, have been hands-on architecting the protocol and designing the incentive mechanism that makes the system self-sustaining. It's been an insane ride, and we are just getting started. So, yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Siddhant?
Right. Okay. Thank you, Gordon. Absolutely, it's been a pleasure to be here and speak in front of you. And thanks for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm Sid. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TensorUSD. And like Kem said, we've been building this native stablecoin for the Bittensor ecosystem since last August. And we've been here up until this moment building so many stuffs within the subnet. And now we're finally here on the progress of launching to us the mainnet. So we're here to discuss a few more things about the TensorUSD, which I believe, everyone would be hearing throughout the session here. So
yeah. Awesome. Thanks to both of you. So I know we'll get into all of the mechanics around the incentive mechanism. What do miners and validators do? But maybe the first most obvious question that a lot of people might be thinking is, why does Bittensor need a native stablecoin? We've obviously got a whole bunch of stablecoins in the wider crypto and DeFi ecosystem, USDT, Tether, and USDC Circle being the largest. But why? What is the reason behind what you guys are building, and why do we need a native stablecoin for Bittensor?
Okay, right, Gordon. That's the very basic principle that we're trying to solve as a stablecoin. So the first and foremost thing is that people tend to go out from this TensorUSD ecosystem, like Bittensor ecosystem, to external exchanges like Binance, Bybit, whatever out there. Mm-hmm. They have to primarily sell their TAO to convert into a very stable form and use it. So relying on any external bridges for the centralized counterparty risk and friction, like going out here and there, is not a very ideal situation, since we are growing, the TAO ecosystem is growing so big. So we saw a demand somewhere for their own native stablecoin that people do not have to go outside. They can transact within this whole ecosystem. So we tend to develop a very trustful, very low latency unit of account for seamless unit-to-unit transactions for the people. That's why to stop the capital flight going out to the other exchanges, to build something natively within this ecosystem, and to keep people within this TAO ecosystem, we initially had this plan, and we had some data as well. We got to know that, seeing from the TAO stats website, that every day nearly around 11,000 to 12,000 TAO is having capital flight out from this TAO ecosystem, that people are taking it outside just to sell and use it as a stable form, or maybe somewhat other as well. So, but this was our potential position for how we tend to build this, and we started creating it.
Okay. Cam, do you want to add anything to that, or?
No, I think Sid covered very well. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I've had experiences using TauFi, which is now owned by Astrid, and the Astrid bridge to convert Bittensor, the native Tau token, into a wrapped version of USDC, and then you have to go and bridge it back over to, let's say, Base or Ethereum if you want to extract it out of the ecosystem. So I guess what you guys are trying to address is partly that, where we can maybe have better and more frictionless ways of transacting natively in Bittensor, and also prevent as much capital flight out of the ecosystem, like you said. Is that
yeah? Basically, we can use the leverage of Tau without selling the Tau. So yeah, with our platform. So it's a great.
Okay. So can you break down in a bit more detail some of the mechanics about how TensorUSD works then? Because Cam, you mentioned in the intro, it's an over-collateralized stablecoin. And my understanding is that users can use Tau native token as collateral and mint TensorUSD against it. So could you break down, maybe as simply as possible, the mechanics of that and how that over-collateralization is achieved, and just explaining it for people who are a little bit newer to TensorUSD?
Okay. So we have the collateral ratio of 150%. That means if you have the 150 worth of Tau, you can mint 100 USDT. Okay. So if Tau price goes up, you don't need to get so much worried because you pay a minimal stability fee, which is also known as interest. And in a worst case, like if it hits the liquidity ratio of 120%, that means from 150% collateralizations, if your Tau value comes under the 120%, then your vault trigger the liquidation process, and our miner, who are also known as autonomous AI liquidator agents, will be active on the bidding process from 105% to 120%. And so if the miner successfully bid the particular vault, and the vault will be closed. So in this way, liquidation process happens. So in our platforms, the miner are the autonomous AI liquidator agent. So this is the process of liquidations. Yeah, and if miners are unable to do liquidate between the 105 to 120, suppose the liquidation ratio goes below the 105%, then our protocol triggers the auctions itself. Sometimes, like there might be some confusion in the miner and miner side. So, and in that worst case scenario, our protocols get activated. So in order to maintain the, the pegging 1:1, so our protocol will be activated if it goes 105%, below 105%. So that's our mechanism.
Okay, can I try to summarize that to make sure that I understand? Yeah. So someone who has, let's say, $150 worth of Tau, they can mint about $100 of TensorUSD against that Tau. That's the over-collateralization piece coming into play. But you're saying that if that collateralization percentage drops from 150 down to 120, that's when I could start to get liquidated on my position. Is that correct?
Yeah. Absolutely. And the another part is, like, if it is reached 121%, he can add more collateral to his call. Like he can increase the collateral anytime. So he can push the collateral ratio from 121 to maybe 150 again, with adding more power.
Yeah, or also on top of that, just wanted to add it while Kim is saying that. Even if it's like nearly to 121%, and if somebody wants to take out, they can take out in that 121%. So unless it goes below 120%, it doesn't get liquidated. So you still have that point.
Okay, so for people who are familiar with DeFi, this might make sense. But for those that are unfamiliar, I think the warning flag there is that that's only a 30% drop in price, let's say, to get to the point where you could be getting liquidated. So it might be in people's best interest to be a lot more over collateralized. Like you might want to be only, minting $100 against $200 worth of tau to give yourself more buffer if that's going to, if we're going to see volatility like we've seen in the past few weeks, where price can drop 25-30% in the course of 24 to 48 hours. So what would you say to people, who have that maybe a little bit of skepticism because of the volatility of the tau price? And any thoughts on that?
So normally the 150% is just the standard ratio of how people should be putting on it. It's like the minimum requirement. But ideally, for people to think of it for like a slightly longer term, it could ideally go, like you said, to up into like 200% or even 250%. So based on that, we can even adjust on the fees and the transactional fees, the holding fees, and everything. It would be way more cheaper for them as well for the long term holding and everything. So that is also a very great perspective for people to look at if they're folding it for the longer term.
And we this 150% collateralized ratio is like completely dynamic. Like sometimes if there is a bear market, we can raise up to maybe 200%, and if it is like a bull market, then we can again decrease to the 150%. So that can be according to the economic data and the market situation also. So by that also we will figure out how much collateral ratio. So for now it's 150. But according to the market also, we can change that parameters.
Okay. Cam, one of the other things you mentioned a moment ago was the miners. And the miners are, I guess, I can't remember the exact wording you used, AI...
Autonomous AI liquidator agents. So that means... so they will figure out which vault is going to be the risky one. So how much fund I have to allocate a particular... like the vault. So they will decide. So they will have a fund with them, and they can decide what value they want to go for it. So they are like the autonomous AI liquidator agent. So they make their own predictions, and based on that they will place the bid. And we have right now we have the American auctions process for the bidding. So according to that.
So those miners are essentially hunting out liquidations. Essentially, they're trying to identify opportunities to liquidate people who have open positions based on where they think the price of tau might go. If they think tau might drop 5 or 10% in the next 24 hours, and that means that there's 10 different people who could get liquidated, they're kind of positioning themselves to profit or capitalize from that. Is that accurate?
So we have the range of 105 to 120%, right? So some miner can decide to go with the 119%. Okay, some might go with the 106. Oh, I don't want to bid right now, so they can wait for 106, 107. But as soon as 105 reaches, our protocol get activated, because we don't have to wait below the 105. It will be risky for our protocol. So to minimize that, our protocol gets activated on 105%. So if no miner gonna mine a particular vault, no miner gonna bid for a particular vault, then our protocol will trigger at 105% collateral.
Okay. And what are the miners actually producing or providing? Are they putting liquidity up front for, I don't know, catching those liquidations, or what are they actually doing?
Yeah, like miners will have some TUSDT, so they will get some TUSDT, and they get ready for the to participate in the auctions. And when the liquidation trigger, like some vault, they goes 100 below to 120%, then they will start bidding for the particular vault, and according to that, they will finalize the auction process.
Okay. Could you explain in a little bit more detail how TensorUSD will work? I will talk about pushing on mainnet in a few minutes, but is TensorUSD going to be a standalone token operating on SS58? will there be cross compatibility with EVM? Can you share a little bit about that?
So not a EVM. So we are natively built stablecoin. So we are completely built upon the Bittensor chains. So TensorUSD is designed to accessible across the ecosystem, utilizing the Ink smart contract to ensure the compatibility with the core protocols, while supporting the EVM environment to maximize the utility. That means like we have the native smart contract. So we have all together right now. We already make a live all our 4 smart contract, that is ERC20, auction contract, vault contract, and the price oracle contract is already developed. And we already did some audit for this smart contract as well. So we take a BitSec as our audit partner. So they already make first level scan, and they have raised some issues, and we already fixed this, and we have sent back to them for the rescan as well. So we have already developed the 4 smart contract, and the last one, the marketplace smart contract, is already on the progress. So we are developing that things also, and because everything we need to verify on the Bittensor chains. So every transaction that we are going to do can be verified real time on the Bittensor native chain. So it's purely SS5 native stablecoin. And we have also requested some of the PRs for the further, like alpha to TUSDT. So we are coming up with not only with tau to TUSDT, we are coming up with alpha to TUSDT as well. And for that, we have raised some PRs in the Bittensor pallet contract. So, and Bittensor Nucleus teams are really supporting us for that. So I think this week we are going to merge one of the important PR that is raised by us. And so that will enable the alpha to TUSD mechanism also. So our stable coin can be minted not only from tau. After that, we can mint our stable TUSDT from all 128 subnet as well. So
okay. So first of all, it's great. I saw your partnership announcement with BitTech from a security perspective. Obviously, that's proactive, and that's great to see. I was going to ask specifically about the alpha token piece, which you just referenced. So the first primary goal will be allowing people use the tau token to over collateralize and then mint TensorUSD. Pretty shortly after that, they're also going to be able to use alpha tokens and mint USD Tensor against their alpha tokens. Yeah. Is it also the goal that you want to have people not necessarily minting against alpha tokens, but being able to swap tau for TensorUSD, or being able to swap alpha tokens for TensorUSD eventually on different dexes or different tau native protocols?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is the ultimate goal of what we actually wanted to do. So definitely in the future, we're going to do it in different dexes and different protocols where it would be possible. And, the ultimate final like overview of how we wanted our product to go is like, we want to make it like in the merchandising. So like, let's say for general payments, like people going out using it for groceries and everything. The actual scenario, for example, let me give you a context scenario. Like, let's say you're holding a tau, but that tau is not being really useful for you currently at this moment, for you to go and use that in the general purpose, like real life, like groceries, travel, anything, or expenses, anything like that. Yeah. So in the coming future, what we're trying to do is you can use that tau to put it as collateral in a vault, mint TensorUSDT, and with that TensorUSDT, we're trying to put that as a merchandise real dollar systems that you can go into, like for example, like Cast and all these tokens that which connect to the MasterCards and Visa debit cards, that you can actually go out and spend it while you still have that tau, and you can repay it back whenever you want.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate goal.
Awesome. So
yeah, you can also have like the debit card and credit card, like similar to that. So, and that have the TUSDT, and you can use that card in your grocery, gas stations, even Amazon shopping and all these things. So we are planning to mercantilize, like the TUSDT later on. So
yeah, I already do this, for example, on my phone. I've got different debit cards where I can send stable coins and use them to spend at different merchants. So that's something you guys would like to be able to facilitate in future. Under the hood, Cam, is I'm sure there's some technical nuances with if someone wants to just swap, not minting, but if someone eventually just wants to sell, let's say, some of their alpha token for TensorUSD,
Mhm.
I guess there's some kind of reconciliation that has to happen under the hood, because normally that's an unstake procedure in the Bittensor ecosystem where you're unstaking the alpha token for Tau. But if someone
Mhm.
wants to, sell or unstake their alpha for TensorUSD,
Mhm.
that's something that obviously has some technical complexities under the hood for you guys to ensure is all smooth. So how does that work? Could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, I mean, to give a perspective on that as well. So what we're trying to do is, on the future, so just not with the vault. So like, let's say, for example, now how you're supposed to mint TensorUSD is like you put in Tau, and then instead of the Tau collateralized ratio, you get the TensorUSD. But not just that. In the future, how you can do is you can just get it through the OTC. So like let's say, for example, how you go now and get USDC in the very similar way. We would have the TensorUSD reserved over the like central exchanges or indexes. From there you can get TensorUSD. So for that you wouldn't need to have any vault or anything. So maybe on that way, like you mentioned, somebody can unstake their alpha tokens, go over there and do transaction with TensorUSD for that thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even like if you only created the vault and you didn't mint anything, so you didn't mint any TUSDT, you just create the vault also, you will get the APY, because right now the PR that we are going to merge, get merged from the valid contract team.
Sorry, Cam, to jump in. When you say PR,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
referencing by PR?
So we requested some change in Bittensor chain.
Mhm.
To the Bittensor team, Nucleus team is the responsible for the all the Bittensor smart contract. So PR is the piece of changes that we are requested to the native builders of the Bittensor. So they are the Nucleus team. So we requested them to make certain changes in order to proceed with alpha to QSDT. So that change need to be done by the like the core team of the Bittensor. So we have raised the PR, means we have raised some issues there, and that's going to be merged very soon in this week. Yeah.
Okay. What is the mechanism being used for the pricing or the peg to the US dollar? We understand that there's the over collateralization element of minting the Tensor USD in the first place, but how is price being monitored or pegged to the US dollar? What kind of Oracle sources are being used? Could you give us some insights on that?
Yeah. So as soon as we maintain the liquidity ratio, we did the auction in a very right time. So if our collateral ratio gonna stay above the 105%, there will be no issue with the depegging. So if the collateral ratio will drop down below the 100, then only the depegging will happen. So it's gonna not it can't be happen right now, because we have our protocols that is actively looking for the auctions automatically on 105%, right? And so below that, our protocol is always ready, and above 105% to 120%, there are the miners. They are always ready for the auction activities. So if we could maintain this auction activities in a very well way, there is no problem for the depegging. So the pegging will be always more than the value of QSDT will be more than $1. But yeah, it's always pegged with the US dollar 1:1. So there is no issue. If the auctions will trigger in a very systematic way, the miners can perform their work. And in worst case scenario, our TensorUSD protocol is always ready to do auctions if it is raised to below 105%. So until and unless we are maintaining this, there is no any issues with the depegging, or the pegging issues will not be there.
Okay. And where do you see demand coming from for what you're building? I mean, for me, I've had people ask me before, is there somewhere that I can supply Tau and borrow against it? And that's kind of what you guys are enabling. You're enabling people to put Tau as collateral, but then mint TensorUSD against it. So I guess that's one use case for people who maybe want to use their Tau as collateral and then leverage themselves. They could use the borrowed TensorUSD to buy even more Tau, for example, if they're bullish. But where else do you see demand coming from? Are there institutional use cases here? Where do you think the largest source of liquidity will be coming from?
Of course, I think the first and foremost thing is within our own Bittensor ecosystem. So, for example, like let's say on any of the top 10 subnets that you can go on, for example, let's say the Tutes or anything, who are selling their services, they're selling their services now with the price of Tau, which is very fluctuating. There is not a proper flow state where they can sell their any standard value for any of their pricing tag. So I think that is where we come as the real use case for people that, okay, they can indicate a certain price tag for their service, and that is all paid through the TensorUSD. And that comes to all the subnets that are selling their products within the, like a standard pricing procedure. But on top of that as well, we can go somewhere outside of the ecosystem later on in the future where people have to do this very similar thing in other ecosystems as well. We can be a stable form of currency for everyone to transact, apart from just minting and then using their Tau as a collateral. So I think that would be a very strong point of selling as well.
Yeah, I also want to add something on it, because demands always come from the long-term holder, because we are targeting the Tau maximalist, right? And so demand come from there as well. And the miner who participate on the TensorUSD also create some demands, because they need to have the TUSDT to get participated in the, as a miner. And so we are also developing the SDK. What is the SDK? Is like a software development kit. That means any subnet among 128 subnet, any subnet, if they have their product and they want to have some payment partner, the stable payment partner. Right now we have Alpha and Tau, both fluctuating every time, right? And they can integrate our TUSDT. They can introduce our TensorUSDT as a stable payment unit for their subnet product. So if Tutes want some stable natively build, like the payment gateway integrations, so TensorUSD can be one option for them. So we are currently developing the soft SDK also. So it's already tested in testnet. So as soon as we hit mainnet, and we'll test on that, and we'll release that part also. So every subnets, they can integrate our SDK, and they can accept TUSDT as the stable payment unit. So there is the the huge potential for the TensorUSD business as well. And also we are trying to give some very good APY those who create the vault. So if you are only creating the vault, you didn't mint any TUSDT, then also you are getting some APY, best APY. So I think the demand comes like that. So
can you explain that vault piece a little bit more? Who can contribute to the vault?
I mean, in order to mint TUSDT, so you have to create first you have to create the vault, and then according to the collateral ratio of the vault, you can mint TUSDT. So first, suppose you have the 2 Tau or the 5 Tau, you will create the vault, okay? And after that, vault will decide how much you can mint TUSDT according to the 150 collateralized ratio. So vault is the initial steps. Before you mint TUSDT, you need to create vault. And later on also we will also have marketplace. We are developing the marketplace smart contract also. So there you can get the 1:1 ratio 1:1 with the Tau and TUSDT also. Suppose you have Tau value is 250 right now USD. So you can get 250 TUSDT from our marketplace as well.
Okay, so if I want to be a contributor to the vault, I can do that and get paid. So if I wanted to contribute 50 Tau into the vault, I can earn APY for doing that. And is that APY coming from the emissions that subnet 113 is earning, or how does that piece work? And am I a miner if I'm providing to the vault, or what am I categorized as? Just a liquidity provider, maybe?
No, but we'll figure out, like, suppose you create the vault with tau, then we will stake that tau into the root from our protocol, inside the protocol, and from there you will get your API.
Okay, so it would be
your
standard...
tau will be no more idle if you are creating the vault with us as well.
Okay, and I would be earning the standard 8-ish% APY from root. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the revenue model for TensorUSD? You mentioned, the SDK, which could bring in partnerships and customers in the form of subnets. Siddhant mentioned some potential to expand outside of just Bittensor as well. But how will the subnet generate revenue? And then how does the second part of the question is, how does that eventually tie back into the alpha token for 113? Would love to hear a bit more about that.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Gordon. That's really a very important question. So revenue, unlike in other business model, is directly for us is integrated to the fees. So the transaction fees and liquidation fees and the stability fees that we would be having it throughout our process of like how you mint it, how you hold it, and the process of how it happens when it goes to liquidation. All these things, we've got a slightly integrated fees that we would be using it as like our revenue. And to address your other question, that 50% of all these profits of our revenue coming from is dedicated directly to going to like buying back and burning the subnet 113 alpha token to reward the community. So that would be our very first and foremost thing, that how we would be giving back to the alpha tokens. And later in the future, like I mentioned earlier, if we could collaborate with great subnets or other like any companies that is being built on, we would be helping them with like initial form of currency. So we would be partnering up with them, certainly in other ways of revenues as well, like maybe through the hosting of anything, or maybe lending and borrowing onto them as well. But yeah, most dominantly our fee revenues would be just from the fees.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. And then 50% of those fees being used to buy back the alpha token sounds good. I'm going to go back to the SDK that Kem mentioned and the potential partnerships and potential customers. What does that look like for you guys today? Like, is there a go-to-market strategy to try and secure 10 subnets using TensorUSD by the end of the year? Are there actual clients kind of lining up for this? What does the demand look like, and how do you guys plan to actually get those first partnerships and clients on board?
Yeah, we are reaching to every subnet owner. We try to reach every subnet owner, and we are planning to sign the MOU also, like memorandum of understanding with every subnets so subnet, the one subnet also should have the product. Like we can't use our SDK without having the product. So if the subnet, they have some product they can sell to their customer, or if among 128 subnet, any subnets, those who have the clients and those who have the products, they can integrate our SDK. So we will figure out, I think so there we can reach out at least 10 subnet in the very first phase. And for this quarter, we will targeting at least 10 subnets. So we want to onboard at least 10 good subnets who have their own product. So we'll try to figure out with them first. And then we'll eventually grow with all 128 subnets. So we would like to grow with all 128 subnets. We'd like to grow together, like we are only the native stablecoin right now. So we are for the ecosystems. And so we try to move very fast for this process as well. Yeah.
Okay. On top of that, I just want to mention it here, and all the subnet owners and the validators and everyone who are listening to us through this podcast here live right now to us, just know that we're coming. That's it.
Yeah. What is the value proposition for them? I understand that it could be a benefit for them to be able to offer simple, stable US dollar pricing to their end customers. So that's a pretty good value proposition. But is there any other incentive for them as subnets to to use Tensor? And is there some creative ways that you're trying to position it?
Yeah, our business plan is to give some incentives through API as well. So we will try to increase the API percentage from our core revenue as well. So we will try to save some portion for the business purpose. Also, we are trying to integrate the API with some extra, like the revenue on it on top of it. So we are planning something like that. So let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Just going back to the alpha, or the component you mentioned earlier about people potentially being able to use alpha to mint TensorUSD, is there any incentive for those people? Is there any kind of yield or APY that they will earn, or because they're staking their alpha, they have to forego, or sorry, because if they're using the alpha as collateral to mint TensorUSD, do they have to forego the staking APY that they'd be getting on the alpha?
Yeah. As soon as they will create some vault, they will definitely get some APY, because that's the reasons we are requested our PR for the core Bittensor team as well. So, and the PR is already done. So they are, I think, they are already gonna merge that PR this week, and after the mainnet, they merge in mainnet, so we can provide the APY to the every vault creator through the alpha token as well. So it will be the first priority will be giving the APY, and later on maybe we can share some portion of our revenue as well to them. Yeah.
Okay. What is the current state? I know you guys are not yet live on mainnet, but I believe you're planning to be rolling out on mainnet in the coming weeks. Could you give us an update on the current status, and what is the timeline for mainnet rollout, and what can people expect here over the next few weeks from TensorUSD?
Of course, right. Okay. So I mean, currently the testnet has been open for nearly 4 weeks now. It's been 1 month. We're just trying to see how people are, opening the vault, doing the minting. What are the problems going around? It's still in the testnet phases and all the stuff. We would be opening the mainnet on the next 2 weeks. That's when we would be going live. But on the first very few weeks, we're planning to put on a ceiling, so there would be a cap on how much people can mint. We'd still be doing like mainnet testing on what are the errors or anything that comes up. And the reason that we're also doing the ceiling is that we're just trying to make it fully ensure that there's no any error room for anything, that if anything goes south on the coming days. But yeah, on top of that, over the coming months, like in 4 or 5 weeks or so, we'd be raising the ceilings. We'd be rolling it slightly more in volumes. Apart from that, what we can expect is we'd be hosting more of like our public partnership announcement, more like our AMAs, and more other collaboration events. Potentially even on the June, we would have a proof of talk event that's happening on Paris, that we'll be representing TensorUSD over there, letting people know about us, potentially getting involved there with other people as well. That's it pretty much lined up.
And also sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So also we are right now in the audit scanning process also. So we have done all the requested changes requested from the Bittensor as well, and we have the external security partner as Alameda. So they both provide us a very good report, and we already done some fixes on our smart contracts. And we are sending our repo to them for the rescanning. So whether still we have some issues or not. So if we get some green signals from them very soon, we can hit the mainnet before 2 weeks as well. So we'll wait for them. So that's the main thing right now.
Yeah, I think the security element is very important, especially right now. With DeFi, we've seen the Drift protocol in the past few weeks get hacked. We saw an exploit on the Polkadot bridge as well. And then more recently, we saw everything happening with Kelp DAO, Layer 0, and Aave. So I know you guys using BitSec and Lambda is your approach, but is there anything you want to stress there? Because you guys are obviously a new and a small protocol, and we've seen very large protocols that are not even immune to these types of hackers. So, what do you want to stress in terms of security that you guys might be doing a little bit different to mitigate risk?
Yeah. Also, we are planning to open the bug bounty program as well. So we will assign some fund, some amount for the bug bounty program. Also, it will be open every time. So once we hit the minute as well, and we really want to test our platforms in minute as well. So we see how our protocol will react with this type of people. We will get hired some ethical hacker also for cracking the protocol and all these things. So we are planning for that as well, and we are planning for this bug bounty program, and we will be continuously in touch with the BitSec and the Lambda for our testing. All the protocols. So we will be continuously monitoring. So we have our internal team as well, QA team as well. So, but we also have the the security partner from within our ecosystem, BitSec, and without external partners, Lambda from outside the ecosystem as well. And we will come up with some, good programs for the bug bounty programs type of things. So I think in this way we can minimize the risk. So yeah, so there is always a risk, but we try to minimize with various approaches with this various approaches.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. We have a question in the chat here as well, maybe worth highlighting. Sagar is asking, with AI becoming more relevant in DeFi, does TensorUSD have plans for AI-driven automation agents, something like portfolio rebalancing, liquidation protection, or protocol-level decisions? And how would governance and security be handled in that kind of model? So, I'll let you guys speak to that, but my spin-off question on that as well is, you're creating this ability to over-collateralize and mint TensorUSD. Is there other types of DeFi products that can be kind of spun off from that in the future as well?
Right, okay. Just going straight back to the question after what Sagar mentioned is, agentic AI becoming more relevant in DeFi? Does TensorUSD have plans for AI-driven autonomous agents, such as portfolio rebalancing? To be very honest and very core of what TensorUSD is, it's just our miners. They are completely acting as like autonomous liquidator agents. So our miners would have the AI agents. They would compete on themselves to become the very best that whoever would be the ideal would be there to carry out the liquidation process. So let's say, unlike in the traditional system where there's just one function, one setup, one level, that however the in-house protocol is there for them to do it, we have got people from all around the world, or the miners, everyone competing for the optimum best solution for them to liquidate on any given situation. So I think that is where we are looking for more AI-driven approaches, more than about portfolio managing or basic protocol level decision making. I think that is slightly out of what we cover as a product.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And coming back to your question, Gordon, I don't think there's really anything which is very similar to us in the DeFi level that is normally integrating the AI core system in their own protocol to how they actually manage their liquidations or the overall system, coming to it as like a stable coin product. I think we're the only one, and in the DAO ecosystem, 100% guaranteed native very first stablecoin. So we take very proud to say that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and talking about there is another question also. How would governments and security be handled in that model? So, if there is certain change that we need to make, so we give our alpha holders to vote for the particular security changes and all these things, which might come later on. So all the alpha token holder of SN113, they can participate in the the voting and all these things. And the one who participate in this voting and governance things, they will be rewarded through our revenue process as well. So we have clearly mentioned these things in our white paper as well. So governance things and the security things can be handled in this way. So all the alpha holder of SN113 are the responsible to cast their vote, and we really care about what our holders will think like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Guys, is there anything else we didn't get to cover yet that you would like to communicate about TensorUSD? Any major topics or anything that you would like to make viewers or people listening aware of?
I think we covered everything, right? Sid, do you have anything?
We pretty much covered everything. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Gordon, again. But I mean, we're pretty much clear on our roadmap. We pretty much said everything that we have from our side. But regardless of anything, it's been quite a pleasure for you having us.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a pleasure on my end as well. I'm excited to keep watching what you guys are building, and obviously, if anyone wants to check out more information about TensorUSD, they can head over to TensorUSD.com. You've got some good information on the website. You obviously have an X account over there linked on your website as well. I think the handle is at TensorUSD on X as well, so people can check that out for themselves to keep up to date.
And also I want to add, you can mint TUSDT with using test tower also. Right now we are live on dev.tensorusd.com as well. So there you can figure out how the vault will work, how the how to mint, how to bond the TUSDT and all these things with test tower for now. Mm-hmm. So as soon as we hit our mainnet, then you can test everything with the real tower as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. My final question actually is: is there, with the testnet, is there any interesting strategies or techniques that you're seeing people using? Maybe you don't have visibility on what they're doing with the test USDT, but I'm sure people are creative. That they might come up with ways to strategize and leverage the TensorUSD to their advantage in different ways. Are you seeing anything interesting from initial testing?
Yeah, I think thousands of TUSDT are already minted in our platforms. Even we are in testnet, so some people are really loving us. They come to us and try to mint. And most of them are also minted from our internet team as well. And we are getting some constructive feedback from some of the OGs of the ecosystem as well. So we try to seek every time, the constructive feedback from them as well. And we already have a couple of meetings with the const as well. And some of the other people also. So I think people are appreciating us. Yeah, they are loving what we are doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Kim, sorry to disturb you. And I think one interesting example of what I can say of what Gordon is looking for as well is that when people come and mint us, really more than the use case of what they're using that TensorUSD for, more than that, I think what is slightly interesting to see for us is that still even on the testnet, the liquidation process, there was a small crash on the TensorUSD a couple of days earlier, and on that day we had seen so much of people minting, and on that process, on how the liquidator agents actually worked to liquidate that, how fast it was quite impressive, because that was the very first time we could see, okay, how did the actual system work from 0 to 1 completely throughout the process. So they were really standard example of how fast it was executing and everything went top-notch, smooth, everything, no error at all. So that was a really nice experience.
Awesome. Well, both of you guys, Siddhant and Kem, thank you for taking the time to have a conversation today. I wish you the best of luck rolling everything out on mainnet here over the coming weeks, and maybe we'll have to get you back in a few months once you have more data, more information after mainnet rollout. We can get you guys back for an update. But yeah, thank you once again for taking the time.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, man.
Awesome. We'll chat very soon. Thank you, Siddhant.